So hi, Kristie, welcome to our Elite Leaders Insights for our partners. The purpose of this today is to find out a little bit more about you, the business, and Thrive Marketing. We're also going to cover off some of the recent trends and things and impacts that are happening out there in the recruitment market, especially after the pandemic as well. I'm really interested to find out a little bit more about how marketing has sort of aided and abetted or been affected by that particular outcome. So look, over to you. Tell us a little bit about you, the business, and what actually the services that you offer to the market will be great. Thank you.
Thanks. So first of all, thanks for having me. And thanks. I love being a member of Elite Leaders, and it really offers some great insight that I can bring back to my clients, but also it helps me obviously tailor my service offering and that of Thrive. That we're constantly learning and obviously wanting to adapt to the trends in the industry, and ultimately it's a great platform to not only learn from others, but hopefully share in a bit of discussion as well. So Thrive, as you alluded to, we're an end-to-end marketing solution, which sounds like a whole bunch of mumble jumbo jabble, but ultimately I come with 18 years of experience in the recruitment industry. I was with Robert Half for a very long time, and in my time there, I was there at a very opportune time. I was there at a time where we really were looking at technology. We were looking at innovation. We were looking at how do we weren't looking inwards at the recruitment industry. We were looking outwards, and what can we learn from e-commerce and different technology models that we can then bring to recruitment. And again, in that time, I was able to sit at a very senior international level. And what that's allowed me to do since starting Thrive 4 years ago is really bring that big company and metrics driven and ROI driven attitude of a big player and bring it to an SME market. And we're so fortunate right now. Technology has really, really come, it's just the exponential growth, the onslaught of what's available for SME businesses means that, the opportunities are endless to innovate, to be nimble, and to really get the most out of marketing.
Absolutely. I echo that. And I sit in a similar sort of space myself. But so who would you say are your ideal customer? Who is it at the moment that are buying into Thrive? What is it about Thrive that they're buying into? And what is it in terms of the market trends that you've noticed, or the shifts that have happened since the pandemic?
Absolutely. So we work with recruitment businesses as small as 5 consultants and as large as 300. Within that, there's recruitment agencies, but also rec tech providers, other vendors to the recruitment industry, and even HR departments themselves. So the difference, of course, is the subject matter. We are recruiting candidates, we're recruiting clients, and in many ways, we're the other C, the third C, consultants, so internal recruitment, so our own recruitment into recruitment agencies, etc. Really within that, I think our best clients are those who are ready to innovate. We have a great team. Ultimately, in working with Thrive, it's like outsourcing your entire marketing department. We have everything from content and brand and social media specialists through to digital marketing. Marketing automation is definitely our sweet spot. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Website, etc. So really, you get the full end to end. And as I said before, it needs to be KPI driven. It's not about doing marketing for marketing's sake. It's not about doing, a bit of social media, dabbling in this. We want to actually look at those channels, initiatives that actually drive return. So when you're making that important call on where to make your investment, do I add a head or do I invest in marketing? It really actually should be a very, very easy decision, because we can, again, ROI of all the technology and digital platforms now, it is there in black and white. We can show exactly what marketing is contributing and demonstrate that it is a legitimate revenue driving activity that businesses should start taking pretty seriously.
Yeah, I agree again. I think progressive recruiters that exist in the market are really looking at this now. There's many exhibitions and seminars, and it's a hot topic at the moment about how a business should change its innovation, business transformation. These are sort of buzzwords that are coming out from most of these seminars. So, but what is it that you feel at this moment in time that a recruiter should be looking at if they haven't done so already?
Yeah. So I think the pandemic was an interesting time. It was a time that, probably a lot of people don't want to remember for many, many, many reasons, but it did give recruiters a chance to step back, take stock. I think some of the vanity metrics on, whoever had the biggest head count, I think that was the vanity metric that people were striving towards. Whereas now they're starting to realize, where does profitability sit into this? Do I need the big fancy office? Do I need loads of headcount if that headcount is not actually delivering return and revenue and or profitability to the business? So what happened during that time is, I think prior to then, recruitment has always been so busy. We were so busy as an industry. And by that, when I say we, the collective we, the recruiters were so busy that it was challenging to step back and say, okay, wait a second, what can we make better? What of our processes can we leverage technology? And within that, I'll say automation again. What are those different things that we can use to actually enhance our service offering? And what is our service offering while we're at it? And that's a whole other discussion. But what that's resulted in is, I think, this, great appetite that's come out to say that, automation, for one, doesn't have to be a dirty word. It's not necessarily, those spammy emails you get in your LinkedIn in-mails. It actually can be, when done well, when tied into that value proposition, that brand promise, that look and feel and that human voice from your business. Just because it's automated, what that does is it allows you to reach the masses. It actually also allows you to even hyper personalize things, because the technology allows you to do that. And in addition, it allows you to, and I'm probably getting a little bit too granular, but it allows you to create tailored experiences for your customers, candidate or client or internal recruitment, at whatever stage of the buying funnel that they're in. And that actually should be an enhanced experience versus just doing it manually. And the beauty in all of this is, we're not taking away jobs. It's not about robots doing your job. It's actually about refocusing your recruiters on what they do best, building the relationships, nurturing, resourcing, finding the best candidates out there, and ultimately making the placement. Let's just let automation and marketing specifically do some of that heavy lifting, do the cold calling or the equivalent to cold calling, do the prospecting, which again, just gives actually a better experience to both your customers as well as your consultants, because they can be spending their time on what they love to do as well. It's a great place to be. And there really is just such a huge demand for it right now that it's a good time to be a marketer.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the market trends and the shift into this particular new way of thinking, new way of remote working is only going to grow. And the market, will it shrink? It's a very overcrowded market, I still feel. But, a lot of these recruiters who have trained these vast majority of clever consultants that have now gone on to become very top billers and business entrepreneurs in their own right, guess what? They're going to go and set up on their own. And they're going to find their own way in life, and they're going to find their own niche, and they're going to be progressive, because they don't want perhaps the infrastructures as some of the old traditional recruitment businesses had. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to outsource more and concentrate on candidate, clients, and retention. And I think that's the trend that I see in terms of a wave that's going to happen in the future. It's not happened yet, but I think a lot of engagement platforms, a lot of technology platforms, love them or hate them, they're going to exist, regardless of whether you want to push back against them. That, like you mentioned, they're not going to replace the human touch, but they're going to enhance or aid and abet the clever recruiter and the progressive recruiter get that stickiness with their clients, because the clients are investing in technology, or have done invested in technology for over a few decades already. So you've got to keep up with the times is basically what we're saying.
Absolutely. And what's going to allow you to stand out? There's different figures out there. They throw around the number of 40,000 recruitment agencies, and you hit it, Adam, that people are starting up and they're thinking about how they're going to do this more nimbly. And the reality is, it's not, you have to think about what's going to make your recruiter most efficient. Now it's a question of efficiency. And, I think a lot of outside of marketing, I think a lot of businesses right now are looking at their CRM, they're looking at their tech stack, they're looking at ways to make their consultant more efficient in the work they're doing. And marketing is just another piece in that big puzzle, and probably with a little bit more to it, because obviously there are elements of branding and there are elements of personal branding to the consultants, as well as a myriad of other activities that marketing does. But really, at the end of the day, I think the winners are going to be those, not necessarily who just go and get marketing, but I think the ones who do want to innovate, who do want to think, okay, what is my value proposition and how am I going to evidence this, and what tools are going to get me there? And that's actually some of the exciting part. I mean, I guess it's daunting at the same time, but really the opportunities are endless right now. And businesses, from what we're saying, just have such an appetite and such an interest to dive in and learn and want to be educated on some of these things.
Absolutely. So look, why Elite? There's so many network groups or other groups that pop up or you could be associated with. What is it about Elite that you like? And I know you've been very instrumental and very vocal in some of the Zooms and also some of the live events. It's great to see you at the last live event, and I'm sure you'll attend many others, with getting to meet some of our members face to face. But what is it about it? What do you like about being an Elite partner?
Yeah, well, what blew me away when I first joined Elite was the fact that there was this collaboration and camaraderie, let's call it that. Whereas I think there's an impression in the industry that, everybody's a competitor, and you have to have your guard up because somebody's going to steal your secret sauce or something. And that doesn't exist in Elite. It really is such a collaborative environment. And I think for a lot of recruitment leaders and other recruitment, support functions, like myself, obviously, having been in a marketing function in a big business, I used to sit on the steering committee. I used to sit in those meetings where you had that peer network that you could bounce ideas around. You can learn about, the latest and greatest in the industry, what's going on, particularly the challenges that recruitment leaders are having right now. I mean, all of that's just invaluable. It's invaluable to me as a vendor, but ultimately, it really is a place where I think there's just a great sense of community, and one where people are open to peer sharing and supporting one another.
Yeah, no, I echo that again. And, I've been with Elite now for over a year, and I'm a new leader myself. So it's very lonely at the top, but there's only really me at the moment, because I can't find others that are, similar in an entrepreneurial spirit as I. I will find them eventually. But what I love about learning all the time is the takeaways that you take away from the live events and some of the guest speakers that we have, and they leave a really lasting impression. And it's not only me that leaves a lasting impression on, it's all of the other members that take something from that then they can then take back into their businesses and improve upon, and grow upon and scale up to the dizzy heights of perhaps when they want to consider an exit at one stage of their journey as they grow. And I think more members will come to Elite once the other start failing. And that's not me having a dig at anything else in terms of our competitors out there. I just feel that we add much more value, much more depth, and much more camaraderie and perception of how a business advisory should be. And I think that's what Elite for me stands for. It's more about the advisory, but also the ability to reach out and ask a question that someone will be able to help and aid and abet and get those decisions made very quickly in a succinct way that people can understand, and it will aid and abet their businesses going forward. So
yeah, I think one of just to the point that you made there, I think you said it's lonely at the top, and I think there's learnings that obviously are very operational for recruitment, that if leaders are bringing trainers into their business, there's a long list of activities I'm sure that they want to be, curriculum that they want to be creating for their staff, and at different stages of that employee life cycle. But who's going to look out for their interests, and who's going to, how do you get that leadership training? And I think that's a really big plus, that, again, that people can share their learnings and are open to, finding those solutions to the hard questions.
Yeah, nobody could ever say that they're a know-it-all, because you can always learn, and you can always pick up something from somebody that you think, actually, that's a really good idea. And I think what this session has taught me today is that what you've added is that marketing is very supportive to the recruiter and shouldn't be pushed down the list of priorities as often it does, and a financial priority. Now, there's that same old saying about sales and marketing, and should never the twain will meet. Well, I'm a big fan of both, because I have been on both sides of the fence, and I think they complement each other very well.
Well,
they should work.
They have
They
to.
They should work in harmony.
They should. They don't, but they should.
They shouldn't be a separated entity. They come together, and when they do, then the results speak for themselves. So I think you've very much got all of the points that hopefully we wanted to get out of this session. It's been a fantastic session of getting to know you and Thrive a lot better. And I'm sure the members will value a further conversation and get in touch with you or see you at some of the live events. So thanks, Kristie. It's been a great pleasure to meet you again and see you again. And we value you as a partner. Long may it continue.
Great. Thanks, Adam. Thanks everyone at Elite.